10 million Americans woke up Tuesday morning inside a tornado red alert zone. That number has only grown since last night's forecast, and the atmosphere is not showing any signs of slowing down. A powerful low-pressure system has been developing over the western plains since Monday morning, steadily pulling warm, humid air northward from the Gulf of Mexico. That moisture has pushed deep into northern Illinois and northeastern Missouri, where dew points are sitting in the mid to upper 60s, levels more typical of a tropical environment than the American Midwest in early March. That warm, moist air is the fuel. A dry line currently firing across West Texas is the ignition point. These two forces are on a collision course today, and where they meet, the atmosphere is primed to explode. Springfield, Illinois is expected to reach near 80 degrees Tuesday afternoon, a record-breaking temperature for mid-March. Just 150 miles to the north, Chicago is locked in the 30s and 40s. That 40-degree temperature difference across a short distance is exactly the kind of setup that generates extreme wind shear and turns strong thunderstorms into violent, rotating supercells. The Storm Prediction Center has placed the highest tornado probability designations directly over the St. Louis metro area, central Illinois, and a corridor stretching through Indiana. This is a 3-day severe weather event. Tuesday carries the tornado threat. Wednesday brings damaging winds across an even wider area. By the weekend, the entire pattern reverses and Arctic air comes roaring back. Tuesday morning will be deceptively calm. Clear skies and sunshine will dominate through late morning, but that quiet is misleading. Every hour without a storm means more energy loading into the atmosphere for when it finally fires. The first severe storms are expected to develop along the dry line across West Texas and southern Oklahoma by midday. These initial storms will be capable of producing tennis ball-sized hail. Residents in the Amarillo area and across the Red River Valley should have vehicles sheltered by late morning. Through the early afternoon, those storms will organize into individual rotating supercells across Texas before merging into a larger system. That window before they merge is historically when tornadoes are most likely. Dallas and Fort Worth are both sitting inside a hatched tornado zone this afternoon, meaning significant tornadoes cannot be ruled out. The Storm Prediction Center's hatched zone over Dallas-Fort Worth currently carries a 5% tornado probability. Last Friday in Michigan, where an EF3 tornado killed 3 people and devastated Union City, the probability on the map was only 2%. A lower probability does not mean a weaker tornado. It means a lower chance of one forming. If one does form, it forms at full strength, regardless of what the forecast map showed beforehand. By mid-afternoon, the threat shifts northeast, into Oklahoma. Forecasters are expecting a small number of strong tornadoes across this corridor. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are both inside the enhanced risk zone. Kansas City, Missouri is on tornado red alert through the afternoon and into the evening. St. Louis has been identified by the Storm Prediction Center as the tornado epicenter of Tuesday's Midwest event, with the highest level hatching running directly over the metro area. Late Tuesday afternoon is when conditions shift from serious to genuinely alarming for Illinois and Indiana. The warm front across northern Illinois lights up with intense thunderstorm activity. Springfield, Illinois, is inside the highest probability tornado designation on the entire national map. The primary tornado corridor runs from Peoria and Bloomington through Quincy and the Quad Cities into Kirksville, Missouri, and northeast toward Valparaiso and Logansport, Indiana. Indianapolis is under an EF2 or higher tornado red alert by evening. Fort Wayne is flagged through the night. The atmospheric energy score over this region is expected to hit 8.5 on a scale where meteorologists grow concerned at 5, nearly double the threshold for a high-end severe weather day, and still climbing toward 10 by late evening. The reason this corridor is particularly dangerous comes down to atmospheric physics. These storms will begin as discrete supercells, individual rotating thunderstorms, the most tornado-productive storm type that exists. When a discrete supercell encounters a warm frontal boundary, the low-level wind shear can double. That boundary is draped directly across northern Illinois and Indiana tonight. Any storm that fires in that environment has access to an enormous reservoir of stored atmospheric energy. After midnight, the individual supercells are expected to consolidate into a fast-moving squall line. That line will carry embedded tornadoes, straight-line winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and will be advancing eastward at approximately 50 miles per hour through towns where most people will already be asleep. This is the phase that concerns forecasters most. Overnight tornado events are not the most powerful kind of event. They are the most deadly. Research on major tornado outbreaks consistently shows that fatalities increase at night, not because the storms are stronger, but because people cannot see the rotation, warning to impact time collapses, and phones are on silent. In a squall line moving at 50 miles per hour, the gap between a clear sky and a direct strike can be less than 3 minutes. Wednesday brings a different but still significant threat. The cold front sweeps east, and the severe weather shifts from tornado-focused to a widespread damaging wind event stretching from Cleveland and Pittsburgh down through Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi. More people will be in the path of severe weather on Wednesday than on Tuesday, spread over a broader geographic area. Nashville, Birmingham, and the New Orleans area should not discount Wednesday's threat. A rogue supercell ahead of the squall line over Mississippi or Alabama would have ample fuel, and an embedded tornado cannot be ruled out. Baton Rouge and New Orleans are watching for a damaging wind and tornado threat Wednesday morning. Flash flooding is also a significant concern on Tuesday, receiving less attention than the tornado headlines. Nashville, Little Rock, Chicago, and communities across the lower Michigan to central Texas corridor are facing a real flood threat. 1 to 3 inches of rain falling on already saturated soil means streets can fill rapidly. The Joplin area, Tulsa, and Dallas-Fort Worth are all in a slight risk for excessive rainfall Tuesday night. The highest risk communities for Tuesday's tornado threat in order of current concern are St. Louis and the surrounding metro Kansas City, Springfield, and Peoria in Illinois, the Bloomington to Quad Cities corridor Kirksville in Missouri, Indianapolis, and the Valparaiso to Logansport corridor in Indiana. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex all face significant afternoon and evening threats as well. For anyone in these areas, the most important immediate steps are straightforward. Check that emergency alerts are enabled on every phone in the household, with volume at maximum and do not disturb either off or set to allow emergency alerts through. Identify a shelter location on the lowest floor of your building, in an interior room with no windows, and make sure every person in the household knows exactly how to reach it in the dark. Charge all devices now before storms arrive. Power outages frequently happen during or immediately before a tornado warning, not after it passes. A battery-powered weather radio is one of the most reliable tools for receiving alerts overnight when cell towers are overwhelmed. Anyone living in a mobile home needs to identify an alternative shelter destination before this evening. Mobile homes offer virtually no protection in a tornado, regardless of the storm's intensity. The full weather pattern does not stabilize until the weekend, when Arctic air returns and temperatures across the Midwest drop sharply. Until then, this is an active, multi-day severe weather event affecting tens of millions of people across the central and eastern United States. U.S. Storm Center will continue to monitor this situation. Follow the National Weather Service